Have you ever thought about what it's like to completely vanish from someone's life? I'm not talking about just pulling back a bit, I mean truly disappearing. No messages, no phone calls, no connection whatsoever. How would they genuinely feel in your absence? If you disappear, I assure you their world will unravel. Welcome to a video that could change everything for you today. If you've ever found yourself in a relationship where someone treated you like an option, this is for you. We're diving into a compelling idea today, what they really experience when you simply vanish from their lives. We will explore 11 powerful emotional stages they'll go through once you're gone. And by the end of this video, you'll see why sometimes the most impactful decision is to walk away and never look back. If you're ready to recognize your true value and make them miss you more than ever, drop a comment below saying, "I'm done being an option," because by the end of this, that will never be your role again. Stick around until the end for a bonus 10th emotional stage. They'll experience one you definitely don't want to overlook. If you're ready to change how they perceive you forever, watch this video through to the finish. Now, let's dive in. Number 1. The pain of rejection. This is where it all starts. They never anticipated your disappearance, not really. In their mind, you were always going to be there. You were the one who invested time and effort, who made plans and showed care. You were their reliable support system. But when you vanish, it's like being struck by an unexpected blow. You've likely heard the phrase, "You don't know what you've got until it's gone." That's precisely what happens when you disappear. To clarify, when you remove yourself from their life, it's not just about being physically absent. It's about taking away everything that you represented: the comfort, validation, and constant availability. They feel rejected, but it goes deeper. It's a profound personal hurt because they realize for the first time that they can't control you anymore. People often don't want to admit this, but when someone knows another will always be there, they start treating them as a safety net, an option rather than a priority. When you vanish, you pull that safety net away from them, and that's when panic sets in. It feels like free falling. They thought they could take you for granted, and are suddenly left questioning how this happened and how they lost control. The pain of rejection is especially intense if you've been emotionally available. They took your love and presence for granted and assumed you'd always be there regardless of their actions. They might even believe they were doing you a favor by keeping you around. That's the real twist. They think they're offering you scraps while you've been the one sustaining the relationship all along. Here's what's crucial. If you want them to truly feel that sting of rejection, don't give them any heads up. Don't announce your departure or issue an ultimatum. Definitely don't seek their attention. Just ghost them. When you vanish without explanation, it hits harder because it catches them completely off guard. It forces them to reflect on their behavior while making it clear that you're done with being disrespected. When you walk away, don't look back. They will feel that rejection deeply, and trust me, it will impact them in ways they never anticipated. The person they thought they could control, the one who always stuck around, has just exited their life. Let them handle the fallout themselves. Number 2. The void of missing you. Here's where things get intriguing. After the sting of rejection fades, they begin to experience something else: emptiness. They probably didn't think they'd miss you at all. In fact, they may have convinced themselves that your absence wouldn't matter much to them at all. If they leave, I'll just move on, they thought. But what happens when you truly disappear? They start to feel that void, and it's not just any emptiness, it's a deep sense of loss that gnaws at them constantly. They go through their daily routines as usual, but something crucial is missing. That's when it dawns on them. You were the one who brought meaning into their life. You infused energy and warmth into their existence. Without you, everything feels dull and lifeless. When someone takes you for granted, they often see you as merely part of the background, believing that the dynamic between the two of you could easily be replaced. But here's the reality. No one else can offer what you brought to their life. They might attempt to fill that gap with someone new, but it will never compare. You infused their life with a unique energy that made everything easier, more enjoyable, and more fulfilling. As each day passes, that void only expands. They may have thought they could distract themselves with new relationships or friends, or perhaps immerse themselves in work or hobbies to move on from you. But guess what? That emptiness remains, constantly reminding them of what they've lost. It's an ever-present reminder, gnawing at them because they never expected to feel this way about you. Here's the irony. They didn't value you when you were there. They believed they could do better or thought you would always be available. But the moment you leave, everything shifts. They begin to miss the little things, the conversations, the laughter, the way you made them feel understood. It's those small, everyday moments that they suddenly long for, but you're no longer there to provide them. When you decide to disappear, ensure it's in a way that leaves no chance for them to find you. Block them on social media. Delete their number, make it impossible for them to casually check in on you. The more they realize they can't reach you, the deeper that void becomes. Each time they think of you and try to connect only to find no trace of you, that emptiness intensifies. Allow them to sit in that void and remember, people often don't appreciate what they have until it's gone. Let them miss you. Let them feel your absence. The more they experience that void, the more they'll start to grasp what you contributed to their life. Number 3. Overwhelming curiosity. At this stage, they're deep in that void and desperation begins to set in. Curiosity takes over and becomes all-consuming. The burning question in their mind is, where are you? What are you doing? Who are you with? They become fixated on uncovering what's happening in your life because they no longer have access to you. You've turned into a mystery, and nothing is more unsettling than being unaware of what's going on with someone who was once so close. In today's social media-driven world, this stage is even more intense. They'll be checking your Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, every platform, just for a hint of your activities. But here's the twist. You're giving them nothing. You've gone completely silent, no updates, no stories, no posts at all, and it drives them wild. Why? Because humans inherently dislike uncertainty. The moment you disappear, their minds start racing with questions. This is when their insecurities surface. They begin to wonder if you've moved on, or if you're seeing someone else. Are you happier without them? They can't bear not knowing, so they become obsessed with finding answers. They might even reach out to mutual friends for information about you, asking questions while being too proud to admit they care. It's a pitiful sight, someone who once thought they didn't need you, now going out of their way to discover what you're up to. The truth is that curiosity is a potent emotion. When someone lacks the answers they seek, their imagination fills in the blanks. They might envision you with someone else or picture you happier and more fulfilled without them, and that thought gnaws at them day by day. Curiosity morphs into obsession, and here's the kicker: the less they know, the more they crave information about you. You become the one thing dominating their thoughts. To stoke their curiosity further, become a ghost completely off the grid. Avoid posting anything that might give away clues about your life. Let them wonder and stew in their own thoughts as they try to decipher what's happening with you. Each time they pick up their phone, looking for updates, and find nothing. It'll push them closer to the edge. You hold the power now. And their curiosity is your greatest asset. Don't provide answers, offer silence instead. Number 4. Deep self-reflection. Now we're entering a challenging phase for them. This is where self-reflection begins. And it isn't pretty at all. After days or even weeks of wondering where you've gone and what you're doing, they finally start looking inward. They begin asking themselves tough questions. Was I too distant? Was I too cold? Did I push them away? Did I ruin this? Regret starts creeping in like a bitter pill that's hard to swallow. Here's the reality. People often struggle to admit when they've made mistakes. It's just human nature. However, when you disappear, you compel them to confront those mistakes directly. Without your presence to reassure them or smooth things over, they are left to grapple with their own behavior, and it's not a pleasant experience. They begin replaying every interaction in their minds, questioning whether they could have acted differently. They recall the times they ignored your messages, dismissed your feelings, and made you feel like an afterthought. This realization hits hard because deep down, they know they had something good but took it for granted. Now they're stuck with their own thoughts, and those thoughts can be brutal. This stage is particularly powerful because it's internal. They can no longer blame you. You're not there to argue with or make excuses for them. The only person left to blame is themselves, which is a tough pill to swallow. As time passes, their self-reflection deepens, and the more they reflect, the more they understand how much they messed up. Guilt begins to build, and they start wishing they could turn back time and change their actions. But it's too late for that now. During this phase, don't reach out or try to explain why you left or show them the errors of their ways. Let them figure it out on their own. Self-reflection is most impactful when it occurs internally. The more time they spend in contemplation, the more they'll realize that they were the reason things went awry. Allow them to sit with that guilt. It's a valuable lesson they need to learn. Number 5. The urge to pursue you. After spending enough time in self-reflection, something shifts within them. They transition from questioning themselves to wanting you back. The tables have turned. You were once the one putting in all the effort and care. But now, it's their turn. The urge to pursue you becomes overwhelming. They can't stop thinking about you or wanting to reach out, nor can they stop wondering if it's too late to mend things. They might start sending texts like "I've been thinking about you," liking your old Instagram posts, or even commenting on something just to see if you'll respond. They may send a late-night message after a few drinks in hopes of rekindling what was lost. Here's the catch. Now they're chasing you. They've shifted from taking you for granted to desperately wanting you back, and this is where you hold all the power. While their urge to pursue is strong, you don't need to respond. In fact, you shouldn't. Let them feel that desperation and wonder. If you've moved on, the more they pursue you, the more they'll realize they've lost control of the situation. They no longer have the upper hand, and that drives them crazy. When they start chasing after you, don't give in. Responding will shift the power back to them. You've worked too hard to reclaim your worth. Now is not the time to give that away. Let them pursue you without rewarding their efforts. Silence is your strongest tool here. Let them experience the frustration of wanting something they can no longer have. Number 6. The battle between relief and regret. Initially, when you disappear, they might feel a fleeting sense of relief, an initial taste of freedom. They might tell themselves, "Finally, I don't have to deal with this anymore," and perhaps even feel good about it for a moment. But here's the catch about that so-called freedom. It's an illusion. It feels exhilarating at first, but is ultimately superficial and temporary. They may go out with friends or swipe through dating apps and think everything will be fine, but as soon as they're alone in their quiet apartment or scrolling through their phone, regret starts creeping in. They begin to realize that freedom without you feels like emptiness. Those people they thought could replace you are merely surface-level distractions. It's akin to drinking salt water. When thirsty, it seems like a solution, but only leaves them more parched and desperate, while amplifying their regret. Moreover, in today's world of casual dating and hookups, many believe moving on will be as simple as finding someone new, but it isn't. They quickly discover that someone who provided emotional stability and genuine connection cannot be replaced by a quick fix or meaningless fling, and that realization knocks them flat on their back. Let them experience this fleeting sense of freedom. Don't rush back in when regret starts setting in. Allow them to sit in that empty space they thought would feel so liberating. Remember, while their initial relief is temporary, your absence will haunt them in ways they never anticipated. Number 7. The desire to play the game. Once regret sets in, panic ensues. Now they want to regain control of the situation, but they're unsure how to do it. So, what do they resort to? They start playing games, acting distant on purpose to make you jealous, posting photos with others to create the illusion of happiness without you. They might share a cryptic status about moving on or post a selfie that feels forced. It's all a ploy to reel you back in and make you wonder what they're up to. But here's the catch. You're not playing anymore. You've outgrown these childish games and have moved beyond that behavior. Their petty attempts to provoke a reaction go unnoticed by you. People often think that manipulating someone through jealousy or playing hard to get will make them chase after them. But what happens when you stop chasing and grow tired of the game? They'll throw everything at you: subtle digs, passive-aggressive comments, exaggerated social media posts, but none of it works because you're not giving them the attention they crave. You refuse to engage in their childish tactics, and that drives them absolutely mad. When they can no longer elicit a reaction from you, they lose all control. They're left flailing, grasping for something they can no longer manipulate. Don't engage. Ignore their cryptic posts, and don't react to their photos. Their game only succeeds if you play along. The moment you stop responding is when they realize they've lost their power over you. Number 8. The crushing weight of silence. Silence is one of the most powerful tools at your disposal when you vanish. The absence of your words, texts, and presence speaks volumes more than anything you could say. It leaves them alone with their thoughts. And this is where it becomes challenging for them, because the silence is heavy and unbearable. They begin questioning everything, reflecting on all the times they ignored your calls or were too busy to reply to your messages. And now they would do anything just to hear from you again. Silence is torturous for someone accustomed to having control. They expect you to reach out and ask what's wrong or beg for an explanation. But what happens when you don't? What happens when you disappear and leave them sitting in silence, wondering if they've lost you for good? They can't comprehend it. Every minute without a word from you feels like an eternity. And as time passes, their anxiety escalates. We live in a world of constant communication: texts, calls, notifications, where everyone expects an immediate response. When you don't provide that, they spiral into confusion. They're used to the noise of a relationship, the back and forth exchanges, and even the arguments, but silence is deafening. Let your silence be your strength. Don't break it or explain yourself. Allow them to feel the weight of their actions through your absence of words. They will soon realize that losing access to you is far worse than any argument you could have had. Number 9. The fear that brings them crawling back. Now we reach the point where everything starts to crumble, fear sets in. This is the part they never anticipated, actually being scared of losing you. For so long, they felt secure, believing you'd always be there for them. They took your presence for granted, thinking you'd stick around no matter what happened. But now that you're gone, terror grips them. The fear hits harder than anything else. They begin wondering if they've lost you for good, or if you've moved on with someone else. The thought of seeing you with someone new consumes their mind. They'll picture you laughing with someone else and creating memories together, and just the idea makes them feel sick inside. Suddenly, they're no longer concerned about pride or ego. All they can think about is getting you back. This fear drives them to take actions they once swore they'd never do. They'll reach out, apologize, and even beg for another chance. Perhaps they'll send lengthy messages explaining how they didn't appreciate you before, but now realize how much you meant to them, or show up at your door unannounced, hoping for a second chance. Whatever actions they take are motivated by one overwhelming factor: the fear that they've lost you forever. But here's the truth. By the time they feel that fear, you've already moved on. You've found your strength and independence. You don't need them anymore. Their fear is genuine, but too late. When they come crawling back, don't offer them a second chance simply because they're scared. Let them face the consequences of their actions. You've already moved on, and now it's time for them to learn that you're not an option to be taken for granted. If you've made it this far, congratulations. You're already ahead of 99% of people out there, and have proven yourself as a true Stoic, someone who seeks depth, wisdom, and understanding. Number 10. The realization of emotional independence. This is where everything comes full circle. The realization of your own emotional independence. When you disappear, you're not just walking away from them. You're stepping into your own freedom, emotional clarity, and peace. In many relationships, we often become so focused on making the other person happy and proving our worth that we neglect our own needs. We forget that we have the power to choose, to walk away, and to demand better for ourselves. But once you vanish and reclaim your space, everything starts to come into focus. You no longer seek their validation or care about their thoughts, feelings, or desires. You understand that your happiness isn't dependent on them, and that's one of the most empowering realizations you can have. This is your emotional independence. And here's the best part: they feel it too. They recognize that you're not the same person they once knew. You're stronger, wiser, and more confident. They can sense that you've outgrown them and that you don't need them to feel whole anymore. This is where the tables have turned for good. They're stuck in their old patterns while you've evolved. You've broken free from the cycle of seeking validation, rendering their opinions meaningless. Embrace your emotional independence. Don't revert to old habits or give them the satisfaction of believing they still control your happiness. You've moved beyond that, and that's your greatest victory. Number 11. Embrace the power of self-discovery. In addition to the 10 powerful insights shared, the 11th piece of advice is to embrace the journey of self-discovery. When you step away from a relationship or situation that no longer serves you, it opens up a valuable opportunity to explore who you truly are outside of that dynamic. Why self-discovery matters. Rediscover your passions. Use this time to reconnect with hobbies and interests that you may have set aside. Whether it's painting, hiking, writing, or learning a new skill, engaging in activities that bring you joy can reignite your passion for life. Reflect on your values. Take the time to reflect on what truly matters to you. What are your core values? What do you want to achieve in life? Understanding your values will help guide your decisions and relationships moving forward. Build a stronger identity. By focusing on yourself, you can build a stronger sense of identity that isn't tied to anyone else. This newfound clarity will empower you to make choices that align with who you are and what you want. Cultivate resilience. The journey of self-discovery often involves facing challenges and overcoming obstacles. Each experience strengthens your resilience and prepares you for future relationships and situations. Create healthy boundaries. As you learn more about yourself, you'll also understand the importance of setting boundaries. Knowing what you will and won't accept in relationships is vital for maintaining your emotional well-being. How to start your journey. Journaling. Write down your thoughts, feelings, and experiences. Journaling can help clarify your emotions and track your growth over time. Meditation and mindfulness. Practice mindfulness to stay present and connected with your inner self. Meditation can help reduce stress and enhance self-awareness. Seek new experiences. Step out of your comfort zone by trying new things, attend workshops, join clubs, or travel to new places. Each new experience contributes to your understanding of yourself. Connect with supportive people. Surround yourself with individuals who uplift and inspire you. Healthy relationships can provide encouragement as you navigate this journey. Embracing self-discovery is a powerful addition to the journey of reclaiming your emotional independence. It allows you not only to heal, but also to grow into the best version of yourself, one that is confident, fulfilled, and ready for whatever comes next. By prioritizing self-discovery, you'll be better equipped to build meaningful connections in the future while remaining true to who you are. This journey from vanishing from someone's life to reclaiming your emotional sovereignty is a masterclass in Stoic resilience. Every stage rejection, curiosity, self-reflection mirrors timeless Stoic principles, focusing on what you control, embracing discomfort as growth, and finding freedom in detachment. By disappearing, you're not running away, you're practicing amor fati, loving your fate, and reclaiming your narrative. Subscribe to Stoic Quotes channel and fuel your resilience with wisdom from Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius. We will help you turn philosophy into action with guides on boundaries, self-worth, and emotional mastery. Connect with thousands who choose logic over chaos and inner peace over external validation. Smash the like button if you're ready to live by Seneca's words. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. Your journey doesn't end here, it begins. Subscribe now and transform every setback into your Stoic advantage.